Welcome to Those Who Can't Do. I am Andrea Forgum, and today we have a returning guest co-host today, Denver Riley. Denver, what's up?
What is up? It's an honor and a privilege to be here. I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this since I said goodbye on the first time I was on.
I know. I don't even know if you actually should be allowed back on since you're on like the verge of being fired from teaching, just in general.
No, truly on the verge of not having a job. I'm trying to not panic because that's kind of like I like to panic at the very last minute, as you know.
Yeah. Okay. So for context, for people who are unaware, let's just rewind this. I don't know, a month ago, you texted the group chat and you said
I did.
That you got an email from HR saying, please see us at the end of that day. Was it like literally come see us right now?
I think it was the day prior. It was like, you have a meeting with us tomorrow. Be there. I know I know what period you have prep. Go. And I was
who did they tell you to bring along on this journey to the district office?
The union that supports me as a public school teacher, as a teacher,
as an educator. I have never in my many years gotten an email from HR telling me to bring union representation.
Yeah. Would you like to know what it feels like?
Yeah, please
okay.
Tell me.
It was almost one of those things where it was like, what? Why? It was like so spooky and scary. And I felt like I was being sent to the principal's office because I kind of was.
You were.
The principal.
Like of the entire district. They messaged you and they said like, please come to our office and bring the person who's going to have a discussion with us in case we decide to fire you after today.
No, yes. 1,000%. So
do you want to share why you received that email?
I really would love to share. So I received my credential to be a teacher at the University of Hawaii, so out of state. Can I say California?
Yeah.
Okay. At a different state than where I teach now.
Can I say We're going to keep all of that, by the way. We're going to keep you asking California and then not saying it.
In California. Okay, yeah, that was so silly. So as you know, California has their own sort of thing for getting their California credential. Because I didn't get it directly in California, there's different credentials and certificates and avenues and whatever that I have to get in order to become a teacher in California. So I wasn't aware of one of the credentials that I had to get. I would have loved a packet that was like, thank you so much. You're hired. Don't forget to get this and this, which like they might have, but like because of who I am, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
So I had an extension for the permit.
Because you've been teaching how many years at this point?
I am in my third year and I'm officially tenured. I got my letter and everything. So looks like I'm in the clear, right? Misleading. Psych.
Yeah. No.
So they basically said, because you don't have this credential and we've given you 2 years and you've had 2 extensions, you are on the verge of not being able to be rehired.
Denver, didn't they notify you each time they extended this for you?
They just said, here's your emergency clad extension. And I was like, cool.
you said, great. I have no follow-up questions to this.
I said, thanks, girly. That's so nice of you. Like, how kind. And then they were like, renew your permit. And I was like, yes, no problem. And then they were like, so have you gotten the work done? And I was like, excuse me?
Of course. I've been teaching this whole time.
Yes, I'm a teacher. And then they said, no, babe, you need to get the whole thing. And I said, right. So I have scheduled a test to take. It's the CLAD.
Yeah.
The CTEL.
That's the one she's missing. Yeah. Which is 3 tests. It's not 1 test. It's 3 tests. Each takes 2 hours each. So if you're taking all 3 in one sitting, I'm having flashbacks because I also had to take this test. It takes 6 hours. So you are at the testing office for 6 hours if you decide to take all 3 at once. Because I was also licensed outside of the state and was given all of those same instructions and everything. So
right. And so I will be taking all 3 at once in a city that is an hour and a half away.
Great.
In Irvine. On the best day of the year and my favorite day of the year, which is
doing it on Halloween?
No Surely
way.
am.
Oh my gosh.
So I want to email and be like,
to be.
It actually does. Like, I feel very, it's going to work out in my favor. I was going to ask, can I dress up? And do you have candy for me? And if the answer is no, I might not show up.
Oh my God, Denver, they're going to fire you.
No, they surely will. So if I don't pass 2 of the 3, if I pass 2 out of 3, I get an extension for the other permit. If I pass all 3, I'm done. So I'm passing all 3.
That's right.
Period.
That's what we're saying. Yeah. Have you been studying? Because it's been like a month now since you found this information out.
Right.
My God, Denver. You texted me and you said, have you taken this? Is it difficult? And I was like, yeah, girl, it's hard. Study a lot. And you've taken that information.
And I have taken it.
Uh-huh.
And I put it in a drawer next to the important drawer. And so I am going to be making it my entire life. Great. I got it.
Yeah.
If I don't, you have yourself a new assistant.
You're just going to full-time be on the podcast
Follow
with me
you
now.
around.
Excellent.
1,000%.
I love that for both of us. And I thought you wanted me to be rooting for you to pass, but under these circumstances, I don't know that I can do that for you. So
I think it goes without saying I would like you to root for me to pass.
Okay. I can do that.
Okay, thanks.
I just think it is the funniest and most horrifying thing in the world that, like, because I do in fact know what you went through in this process, because I too went through this process.
Yes.
And the list of things that you should do to clear your credential are in fact on the state website to get your license in California. And they have a section that says, if you're new to California and you got licensed somewhere else, here are the things. Here's your list. You need to take that CTEL test because you didn't have enough courses teaching you how to teach students that don't speak English.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and use the COVID card.
Wait. You're gonna blame the pandemic.
Linda, let me explain. I graduated college in 2020.
Okay.
And so I moved back home and I was like, I don't have a job. And then my only focus was like, let me get a job. As you know, I worked as a long-term sub and then I got officially hired. Yeah. So I'm not sure why I'm using the COVID card.
Okay. Because to me, it just sounds like you got like extra time to figure your life out.
Totally.
Yeah.
You're so right. I have no rebuttal to that.
It is. It is that, which is where our love story began, was when you started long-term subbing at the school. And okay, so you mentioned Halloween as your test day, which is your holiday. That is your moment.
It's my moment.
A human just in general. Are you doing anything in your classes right now that is like Halloween forward, that is like really giving the spooky season vibes?
So I'm kind of disappointed in myself because, as you know, I am grown now.
Yeah.
And I have my own house. Quote. Because what does that mean?
It means you can rent cars now. That's what that means.
Right. And I have my own apartment. So I no longer live at my family house, which is where all of my Halloween decorations are. Uh-huh. I haven't yet managed to get to my home to get my classroom decorations. Don't get it twisted. I have decorations in my house, but the classroom ones. So, but as far as using my spooky love in the classroom, yes. Yesterday was October 1st. I said, what are you going to be for Halloween? And say happy Halloween to your neighbor. And funny enough, they looked at me like, this chick's nuts. We just looked, since I'm going to be out on Halloween, I found some figurative language practice coloring sheets that are Halloween themed. Okay. This is for high school, by the way. So but I know that I like to sprinkle in little like imagery practice with spooky prompts, or I'm giving you, I think you were the one that created the little twin demon thing. Do you remember that? The 6-minute write, where it was like, write a story about this GIF GIF, whatever it is.
Oh, maybe. That sounds like something that I would do. I don't know. I have zero memory of when I create something for the classroom. I am equally surprised when I look in my drive each year and I'm like, look, who did this?
That's
and I'm like,
awesome.
It's me. God, my God, I'm a genius.
Owner, me? Love
me?
that for me.
Exactly. And so, and it's very possible that I have stolen some intellectual property from people on the internet unintentionally and then rediscover that intellectual property a year later and think it's me.
Right.
So we're not going to delve too deep into the ethics and the qualms of that.
I don't see why we should.
No, let's not.
No. Okay.
Dig into that. Well, that sounds like a good one. Did you play like spooky music and stuff?
Yeah, there was like a little timer with like spooky music. I like to keep it, fun, fresh, silly. Like, can we just have fun today, guys? That's what I say to them all the time. And
I'm sure they love that.
They were like, sure. Sure, freak. Yeah, and so that's what I'm doing so far. I need to brainstorm a little bit more of how I'm going to incorporate that because it's only 1 month.
Yeah, we don't have that much time left. You literally have less than a month.
No, I'm like starting to panic. I already have my Halloween costume. I told them all about it. So excited. I got a little boo bag, so I had that on display.
Wait, what are you going to be for Halloween?
I'm going to be a vampire.
Okay. I love it.
Classic vampire.
Okay, so Denver did some pictures.
That sounds so
accurate to what you sent the group chat. Can we share in the YouTube version some of the pictures, please?
Oh yes, please. Because that also hypes up my amazing friend who took the pictures.
They're absolutely beautiful. I'm so jealous. They're like vampire, like very like dark gothic-y. And Denver like is not a gothic girly. She's a crystal girly. Would you say that's accurate?
I would say I'm a crystal girly in the sense that's like it's the only thing that's keeping me sane. And I'm going to blame it on the moon, the crystals, and it's not me. So yeah, I would say that's true.
Okay. Yeah, I just like it, because there's some girlies that are gothic like year round, but you just hit September 15th, maybe?
Correct.
Does it take that long? And then you just transform yourself into
a bat. Right.
Just a bat.
Just a straight up bat. But yeah, I had this idea for a spooky photo shoot last year. I told one of my friends from college who's a photographer. Never ended up happening because life, and it was just crazy timing. And so this year I said, I have this idea. And I basically gave her 28 different ideas. And she was like, so cool. Let's pick one. And I said, okay, fine. And she had this idea, found the location, knew exactly what she wanted me to wear. I mean, it was so great and so fun to like just step into that fully.
Yeah. And they're like, I don't know if I would categorize them necessarily as spicy pictures. They're like sexy, but they are not, it's not like anything that would get her kicked off Instagram if she posted it. They are like, it's
correct.
Like blood on your chest a little.
Blood on my chest, on my like arms, my hands, like I have a cute little dress. Like,
yeah, it's great. They're great.
Thank you
I love
so
them.
much.
You're so welcome.
Thank you. When I need a boost of confidence, I go back and look at them.
My literal thought was, I have never done any kind of photo shoot like that. Also,
you should.
Okay, but here's the thing. Number one,
tell me.
I'm just gonna say it now. So over the summer, you know this, but the rest of the world, I have not completely
vocalized.
This. Right. I had a mommy makeover over the summer, right?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did, and I'm very pleased with the results. Right.
You look. You looked amazing prior, but like you look amazing. You already know the comments I was saying in the group chat that I will not be saying on the internet. But
thank you so much. But I was like I'm very conscious of the fact that as an educator, I don't want to be like super plastic surgery forward because like we are role models, we're all of that. And so I'm trying to be just very intentional how I deal with that. So I haven't really verbally acknowledged it. But when I tell you the comments that I am getting, I thought, and I was telling my husband
Let's talk about it.
The comments I am getting, because I told my husband, I was like, I don't know. He's like, well, what did you like expect with, having a bigger set? Like, did you what did you think? And I was like, I just thought that's so stupid. It was going to be like this unspeakable, ineffable, like something about her has just changed and gotten
her aura is level 700 now. Like,
when I tell you the comments, I got a DM yesterday that just said melons. Most of the comments are fairly respectful, like on the spectrum of I don't
That's
feel.
kind of funny.
It was kind of funny. And my husband was laughing. Oh, there was one today that said calcium cannons. Like just responded to a comment that had nothing to do with it at all and just commented calcium cannons. I heard my husband, Steven, laughing from the other room. And I went and I was like, what are you laughing at? And he said, somebody called your boobs
comment.
He's having the time of his life with all of it.
The alliteration is really great. But that's so interesting that, I mean, the world and the internet is perverted.
Yeah, but they're keeping it
to your
pretty.
Point,
and some have literally just said boobs. Like,
right. Like you didn't want to try and cover it up.
They did not. Or they will just have like eye emojis and then other guys will comment, yeah, I noticed too. And like kind of talking, like, I don't know. It's very strange. And can you imagine though?
The perfect word.
Can you imagine if I was still teaching? Can you imagine if I was still in a high school classroom? Because I did it over summer. So the set of students that I currently have, completely different set of students.
Seniors gone. Well, yeah, correct. Yeah.
So if I were to have the same group of students and I was teaching freshmen one year, I come back and now I'm teaching sophomores and those freshmen come to visit me. Can you imagine?
No, I truly can't. Well, and that's why I don't know, like even talking about this, I'm like, am I going to get in trouble for talking about this? But like, I've always been like a curvier girl. That's just the nature of me. And so I feel like number one, being curvy and like you now, curvy, younger, like cute, you know what I mean? It's just, it's almost like I'm so aware that I don't want it to be a thing at all. But it's like, if certain times I put on a top and I'm like, that it's not revealing or anything that much, but it's like, I don't know. I get conscious about it of like, this is just someone's going to look at me and be like, that's inappropriate. Like, that's just always my biggest fear is that happening.
Yeah. It was just so funny. And like this, like the shirt I'm wearing right now with kind of a scoop neck, I would say, not low cut in any way, shape or form. And this is the shirt I was wearing today with the video I posted. And I got more comments on the new situation than ever before because it's a slightly more snug shirt. And it's
tight, right?
It reminded me so much of when I taught and anything would change and people would just like, it would be nice to think we would grow out of that. But alas,
no,
the internet has not.
I would argue it could amplify it even more. Literally. But that is so interesting. I'm definitely going to be a troll now, trolling the...
Just go through the comments on any time that I allow the camera to have torso
pan below
access.
Your décolletage.
My décolletage. The comments are crazy. And like I said, most of the time on TikTok, they will actually block comments that are super crass usually. So you won't...
great.
Yeah. So like it'll show up on like the requested ones or whatever.
I have seen that.
Yeah. But not anything. But on Instagram, it's the Wild West. Facebook...
You know what? My favorite thing to do sometimes is look on your face, like when you post something and people are really opinionated on Facebook.
Yeah.
And like, I think we knew that, but like the trolls are living under a bridge and are cozy and are coming for you, miss.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I can't even.
Power to you.
You know what's so funny though, is the hate comments I get are so different from my insecurities. It's very interesting. You know how like
really? Do tell.
So like my biggest insecurities, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to feed the trolls in that particular way, but I have like a very specific insecurity, right? But the hate comment I get the most is about the size of my forehead and that people think I have a really big forehead. And it takes up some real estate. Like there's no doubt. But I have never once been like, if only I had a smaller forehead. If only I had that real estate better redistributed, my life would be better. Like lots of other things I've been like, I would change that, but not the forehead. And I got that comment today from a guy who was aggressively balding. Yeah.
Of course it's a bald man. Let's say it. Sorry, my dad's bald. It's
my
fine.
husband's bald.
Yeah, no, I meant balding, man. There's a difference between bald and balding. That's so, I mean, that's kind of like a win for you.
I know.
Like, well, and that was,
being bullied on the internet is nothing like getting bullied in real life by students, honestly. The things that those children will say to me to my actual face is pretty wild. At least on the internet, like,
it's so wild.
Yeah. Have you had any students pop off and do some crazy stuff so far this year?
Okay, so knock on wood. No. I don't know what is in the air, what's in the water, but compared to the things I experienced last year and my first year of teaching, I mean, those incidents, those were maybe not last year, but definitely my first year. Let's just say there was a chair involved being thrown at the wall. That was so insane. I haven't had one single like fraction of that even, which I feel very lucky and fortunate for. And I don't know if it's like a new generation coming up that are just a little bit nicer. Like, I'm not sure what it is, but I haven't.
Are you old now? Is that why? Do they think you're old?
So we're not going to say old because doing the math, no.
Okay.
I'm still only slightly over 9 or 10 years older than them.
Okay. That's young.
But maybe it's because I'm, let's say, mature.
Okay. That's fair. I today actually, okay, so have you heard that reel where they're like, how was the Great Depression? It was fine. You've heard that one, right?
What was the Great Depression like? It was fine.
It was fine. Yeah. So I actually have a student in my college class that is 41. So he is older than me, and I have students that are like 20, right? So big age range in my college classroom.
Right.
And I was like, oh, it'd be really funny for me to do a reel for the college where like she says, what was the Great Depression like? And it was fine, right? And which is great. Except
it's silly.
Such a silly video.
Right.
Number one, Gen Z, they don't want to be a part of any of the videos that I'm doing. Like I was going to do the Marie Antoinette one where it's like, are you guys talking about Marie Antoinette?
Oh.
I've heard a thing or two about her, that one. And I've got 14 future social studies teachers in that class. All of them too cool to do it. They're like, I'm not doing that. I'm like, you guys are lame. So
why?
They're too cool. They don't want to embarrass themselves. I was like, you're embarrassing yourself right now by not being cool.
That's embarrassing. Thinking honestly. You're embarrassed.
Yeah. So we do this reel.
Interesting.
I know. It's a thing. And so this other Gen Zer in my class goes, yeah, it is crazy how like almost none of us remember 2008. And I was like, oh yeah. And we just like move on in the class, and I'm doing some edits later. And I realize he thinks that reel is referencing the recession of 2008, not the Great Depression of 1929 with the stock market crash.
So like I might not know a lot, but I at least know that.
I'm very proud of you that you know that, because you're not that much older than some of the students in my class. Like,
so I was gonna say that I'm on the cusp. I'm technically, I think, Gen Z, but I think we say like Zillennial. My friend group in high school, we'd call it the Black Eyed Peas generation because like it just fit really well.
Right.
So that's just bizarre.
Yeah. And I was like, wait.
What was your response?
I didn't realize until like 2 hours later. And I don't know if he was screwing with me or if he truly thinks that 2008 was the Great Depression. It was a recession.
I surely hope not.
The housing bubble did its thing. It was a rough year economically, but there were no bread lines that I was aware of. And
no, you should have said, have you read Of Mice and Men? Because if you had, you should know the Great Depression. Okay.
Wait, was the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression what year was that actually set in? I know I taught this, but I can't remember.
I think late 1920s.
Girl, it better be. Otherwise, we're both going to look so dumb. You know what? This is the perfect moment. We're going to come back and we're going to chat a little bit about the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and relate it to teaching. But also, we're going to fact check ourselves. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to Those Who Can't Do. I have great news for everyone. Denver was right. It was 1930, and I am both impressed and in awe of your knowledge.
Thank you.
I completely forgot. I taught it for as many years as you've been are you guys still teaching it? Is that still?
We are. We literally just finished reading yesterday.
Oh, great. Well, that's probably why. That's cheating. You literally just finished reading it. So
super cheating. Because otherwise I don't think I would have known. No, I feel pretty confident. But yeah, we're still doing it.
Okay, so since it is still fresh on your brain, why don't you tell everyone why did they call it the Dust Bowl?
Right. They did that.
No, I'd love for you to share people.
Because number one, it'd be dusty during that time. Number two, there is a bowl somewhere.
Is there?
I'm sure.
Where's the bowl?
I'm sure someone had a bowl. Maybe it got lost in translation and it was like Dust Bowl and it was dusty because there was a bull running.
There's a bull. There's now an animal.
Well, maybe. I wasn't there. I know you were there. But
no, I definitely was not. I don't know that there was a bowl at any point. We do know that it's spelled BOWL, however.
Right. I said maybe perhaps mistranslated. And they meant bowl and then it got turned into bowl.
Right.
Why was it called the Dust Bowl?
I actually want to hear from you why it was so dusty before we go into.
Am I kind of right?
You've said nothing right so far. Other than anti-quote, it be dusty.
Okay. It was called the Dust Bowl.
No, what caused it to be dusty? Because you're right. It do be dusty. Denver.
It be dusty because of the area in the country that we were in. Who is we? I was
the royal we. As humans.
Something about traveling. Something about there's no money.
Denver, you just taught this.
George and Lenny go and they find Rest in peace to Lenny. That's all I got.
All right. Wow. Spoilers.
Sorry, spoiler for a book that's been out for years.
100 years. Right. Do you want me to tell you why? Are you ready to learn? Okay, great.
I'm so ready.
Okay. It's called the Dust Bowl. It got dusty because they basically were planting the exact same plants over and over and over again. And you can't do that. That's why you have to rotate your crop. So they depleted the soil. And it just got... Do you need me to tell you what deplete means?
No.
Okay. It seemed like I lost you when I said depleted the soil. Your face just glazed in a way.
No, I was thinking, yes, of course I knew you couldn't plant the same crop over and over.
Listen, I have lived in Indiana for just over a year, so I could tell you a lot about crops now and corn.
You are so homestead. You're giving homestead wife.
I'm giving homestead. Yeah. So they did that too much. And then everything basically died, which created massive swaths of land that had no plants on it. And then winds came, as they do in big flat plainy areas, and swept stuff. And then Dust Bowl.
That is literally what I said. I quite literally said it'd be dusty because of where we were in the country. The details, schmeetails.
Okay, great.
Thanks for teaching me something.
You are so welcome.
I'll report back tomorrow in the classroom.
Okay. Will you let all of your students know what the Dust Bowl is, since they literally just finished a novel study about two people fleeing the Dust Bowl?
Yes.
Okay.
I surely will. First, I'll ask, what is the Dust Bowl? And they will reply, I'm testing you guys.
That's right. That is the way to do it. Like kind of how I did it to you, where I was like, tell me everything, and I Googled it while you were answering. That is exactly the teaching strategy that I employ constantly, honestly.
I mean, same. Every time, how do you spell this word? That is such a great question. Let's look it up together. Because I don't know.
Have you ever tried to spell Renaissance in front of an entire class?
Unfortunately, yes. Fortunately, yes, because I am a member of the Beehive, remember? So Renaissance was her last album, but the album before that.
It's a really big shame that Beyonce never created an album about the Dust Bowl, because then
I would have known all. Technically, Cowboy Carter, it's given sexist.
Oh my God,
it's given,
yes.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do? Because you don't actually love that album as much as we established last time you were on the podcast. So
right, I do. I support my girl.
Right.
But I'm gonna send her a little message and say, question for you, B. What about the Dust Bowl?
What about the Dust Bowl?
Just what about it?
What about it?
Why it be dusty?
Why?
I sound like an idiot.
Why? Why it be dusty?
That
Okay.
was correct.
Yes. Nailed it. Okay, question.
Answer.
Have you in fact watched Secret Lives of Mormon Wives?
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
I have the last episode because I was trying to like drag it out, but I know all the tea, I know all the lore because I like to spoil things for myself. And so yes, I have. And I have some thoughts and opinions, and I'm excited that we're talking about it.
Okay, great. So what we are going to do is I'm going to have producer Rob, he's going to bring up an image for us of one of them. Rob, you can just pick any of them that I shared with you. Because what we are going to do is we are going to guess if they were to be a teacher, what subject would they teach? And would they be, okay, first of all, do you know who that is?
Yes.
Which one is that?
Demi.
Okay, Demi, and what's the other one's name that looks just like her?
Jessie.
Yeah, I can't tell them apart. There's no way.
Jessie has a little bit more filler, I think, in her lips. She's the one that just got her own kind of mommy makeover situation. Demi, honestly, is in my top, like, 2 of who I really love because she says it how it is.
Did Demi, is she the one who started the company? Or was that Jessie? Or was that a different one? Okay, so I have watched the entire show.
Okay.
I can't tell almost any of them apart. But I vaguely remember this one. This is Demi.
This is Demi. She's the one who has the older husband.
Who's never featured, right? We never see him?
Like, not really. He's just kind of like very unproblematic, just kind of stays out of the way.
Very boring, as we know.
So boring.
Yeah. Who cares? If you're, well, how much older and when did they meet? I guess there's the real question.
Well, she is 29 and he is 47.
When they meet?
I think he was a family friend of her family. And they met obviously when she was younger. I'm pretty sure that's correct. So
we're gonna have to do a little lore check on that. That does not sound unproblematic, but maybe that's why we didn't see him a lot, is people would be like,
1,000%.
Wait a second.
Yeah, that I feel like it was anything different than that, it would have been unproblematic, but like it's
family
giving
friend. Yeah, I don't love that
at all.
Okay, but what do you think she would teach? Because I remember her being not horrible to people.
No.
She was pretty cool with everybody. From what I remember.
She's pretty, like I said, I'm a very straight shooter. I'm very like, I'm going to say it how it is. Like, and she's kind of like that. And she speaks her truth. I think she would teach, honestly, I'm going to put her in with us. I think she would teach
high school English?
Yes.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
As you were describing her, I think that's accurate. I think. I'm sorry if you guys haven't watched Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It's some trash TV, but it's top tier entertainment TV.
Top tier.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Jen.
We have Jen Affleck now, who, by the way, her husband is not actually related to Ben Affleck. Did you see the news on that? Like, everyone kept on being like, Jennifer Affleck, and everyone's like, wow, her husband is like cousins, and apparently
yeah, the whole thing was like, I was actually the first Jen Affleck, and like I heard that like the word cousin was dropped somewhere in the family tree, and I was like, I didn't check that, but I don't think that's true.
Yeah, not true. She's very sweet.
She is. She's adorable.
To an extent that I think is almost problematic.
1,000% agree with you.
And sweet to an almost problematic extent. To me, it gives early elementary.
1,000% I was going to agree with you.
Yeah.
Like kindergarten.
Yeah. Like she's there early. She's there late. She's spending time with every child.
Everything is cute and color coordinated and laminated. And she knows how to write calligraphy really well and writes all the kids' names like on custom water bottles.
Yeah. And can I just say, I have a bit of a hot take about
Say it.
that whole show. So who was it? Whose idea was it? Was it Jesse's idea to go to Thunder from Down Under when they went to Vegas?
It was Jesse's idea to take the girls to not Thunder from Down Under. It was Chippendales.
Chippendales. Okay.
Right.
I have seen many takes about this, being super mad at Jen Affleck's husband, and agree, right? Jen Affleck's husband, if you guys haven't watched the show, is unhinged in how he responded to the situation. However, I think it was a terrible friend move on Jesse's part to bring her friend, Jen, when she absolutely knew it was going to cause problems in her marriage. She knew that. And she knew it would cause problems for Taylor, and she knew it would cause problems for Jen, and she took her anyways.
1,000%.
And I was like, and no one is saying that. And I just don't, I thought about putting it on the internet, and I'm like, I don't know if I really want to, but I'll do it here because
that is a hot take, but I can see that side as well. Like, I think she knew it was going to ruffle some feathers. I don't think she knew that it was going to go as far as him saying, I don't love you anymore.
No, insane. His reaction's insane. There's no doubt about that. I guess to me is like respect for your friend would be to allow her to have the choice on whether or not she wants to start that fight, right? Like, because I think that Jen's husband is insane with how he reacts, like unhinged and all that. But having myself grown up in a very conservative Christian environment, very similar to what like culturally the Mormon environment is, knowing if I were brought to even like today, if I were brought to something like that without it being my choice, without me having a conversation with my husband about it first, I would feel very kind of ambushed by my friends. And I'd be like, dude, you didn't even like give me the chance to make the decision. Like that's kind of
anticipated she even said like husbands are going to be mad at me. And there's one way to say that of like, hee hee ha ha. And, they're like, oh, I can't believe you went there. But knowing that it's more serious than that because it is such a conservative group of women, it's not a little bit more consideration, I think would have been nice.
Yeah. So
I can see that.
I just had to take that tangent because I needed to get it. I needed to get it off my chest. Okay.
I'm proud of you.
So thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Rob, could we get, who's the super problematic one? Well, that's
Whitney.
Jesse. Can we get Whitney, please?
Love. Bingo.
Okay. All right. Whitney
Levitt.
Whitney is the one who, if you were on TikTok at all a couple years ago,
which I was,
her child had RSV. This is the thing she's hated most for. So that's why I'm giving context here. Her child had RSV. She did a dance while her child was in the hospital with RSV. She has since explained,
fresh out of the womb.
Like weeks old, maybe, if even that.
Correct.
And she did like a little TikTok dance with her baby next to her who was like very ill. And her argument since then has been, I was just very tired and very excited because we had just received good news that it was getting better. And that is her defense. I just want to give some context because Context
for the people.
Context for the people.
Can I be drinking this?
Yeah, go for it.
Great.
I just feel like she is maligned in a way that is more than necessary, even though I don't agree with everything she does.
I also agree with that take.
Yeah. Like, I feel like there's people on that show that are absolutely as problematic. But they're like, she's going to be our villain immediately.
And villain, I find, again, a little bit on a tangent, people when you're dealing with a group like this, like it just gives very much high school, like my toxic high school group, whatever.
Yeah.
When you understand that I need to separate myself from the situation, you're deemed a villain.
Yeah. So like she left the group chat and everyone's like, wow. What would she teach though?
Okay. She would, this one's tricky. I think she would probably be in either middle or high school.
Okay. I would agree. She does not give elementary.
She doesn't give younger. Mm-hmm. I would go with maybe like upper level math in high school.
Yeah. I love how we're just like picking on people who do these professions. We're like, she's the worst.
She's the worst. I had my least favorite teacher of all time was my upper level math teacher.
I can tell you, whatever she teaches, she's definitely the cheer coach.
You took the words right out of my mouth. She is the cheer coach.
Yeah.
And all the girls put their bags in her room. in the beginning of class or the beginning of school, but they're also kind of scared of her.
Yeah.
And she also knows everyone's business at the school and kind of tells everyone too.
Yeah. 100%. I actually, when I was thinking about what she teaches, I'm like, I don't know that she even teaches. I think maybe she taught for like a year and now she's admin.
Literally, I was going to say admin or like a counselor.
Yeah. I feel like most counselors I know are not maybe like an instructional,
that's true.
what's it called? The people who, instructional coach who come in or like, because again, keeping with the sometimes unfairly maligned, but sometimes deserves the maligning.
Correct.
Like it feels consistent.
It feels consistent. And I think, she wouldn't be in the classroom. I think she would be involved in the school in a different way.
Yeah. We nailed it. Can we get
nailed it?
Okay, I think we have time for like one more. Who do you want Taylor?
Let's do Taylor because she is the one that kind of I like Taylor.
Of course you do. The one who freaking got a domestic battery assault charge.
Oh, yeah, let's think of that.
Let's beat the crap out of her husband.
Remember that. Boyfriend, because baby daddy.
Everybody on the internet, here's why people like her. Because so guys, if you, again, have not watched the show. You
guys need to go watch, seriously.
It's so insane. But she was the one on TikTok who very publicly came out and said, me and my husband are getting a divorce because we were soft swinging and I caught feelings. And TikTok exploded. Like people, because up until that
happened.
I do too. And I didn't follow any of them at the time.
So I followed Jen and I followed Whitney. And Jen wasn't even a part of Mom Talk yet, I don't think. She was just like a cute influencer Mormon mom from YouTube or from Utah. And I was like, she's cute.
Yeah. And she blew it up because up until that point, it was literally like TikTok moms that are Mormon and very conservative. But look, we do cute little dances and all of that. And then she came out and just put everyone's business out.
I am actually also a swinger. And so
also
we
swing.
These people.
So everyone immediately is like, oh my gosh. So that is like kind of, I think, why they got the show, honestly, is that piece.
It is.
And then they don't really talk about it in the show after that first pilot episode.
Yeah.
Like they do a little bit here and there, but we don't get any of the details.
We don't get the details. I know. I want the details of that.
Yeah, I want to know who. I want to know when. I tell me. Tell me.
I'm going to write it down and we're going to talk about it. That's what I wanted.
For science though. Like for science and research reasons.
It's strictly, I've been using that excuse a lot. I need to see and know for science.
Yeah, because we know how thorough you are when you're teaching, giving background, doing all of that stuff. It's important. It's important where you're consistent in all things. But yeah, so the first pilot episode, she catches a charge because her boyfriend, she beats him up, and she's very sloppy drunk.
It's really
hard to watch.
Hard to watch, exactly.
Yeah. So which teachers that are listening are we going to compare her to?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go back to that. Maybe she's like a coach of some sport.
She could be the assistant coach to
volleyball.
Coach. I was literally about to say volleyball. Why does she give volleyball?
She gives assistant volleyball coach.
Yeah.
I think, you know why I like her, and I did forget about the domestic abuse charge in literally the first episode. I think I don't like the way her mom speaks to her. And I think that seeing that on television, I can't imagine being raised hearing things like that. So I'm curious to know about her. And she doesn't really talk about the direct relationship she has with her mom, but it's really sad. She just looks very broken as a person.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I will say I have respect for her for being so honest.
To a fault. But
she really does seem to be like, that was my bad. You know, that whole swinging and then cheating on my husband thing, that was on me. And I'm like,
she was like, that was me and I did it.
I did it.
And what
happened? And I do appreciate that honesty. But yeah, it is something about her gives assistant volleyball for sure. I don't know. 100%. Maybe she would sub sometimes. You know, those long-term subs always up on the.
Oh yeah, do I ever.
The drama with the substitute teachers.
I do agree with that.
All right. Is there any others that you wanted to hit, or are we good?
No, I think Layla for sure is elementary. Macy is for sure elementary. I think everyone else is around elementary, just kind of
what's the one who like has really severe eczema or something?
I always forget her name. I think it's Michaela.
Michaela. Yeah.
Yeah.
Michaela.
She gives elementary as well.
Yeah. 100%. Also, sorry, Michaela, that's how I characterized you. That's sad. The reason
I'm not even going to say what. Yeah.
It stood out in my mind because I went and followed her on Instagram and I saw a whole series of videos about how she has this autoimmune disorder and she deals with it. And I was like, wow, she's so beautiful and so strong. So really, I was categorizing your beauty and strength, not this
she
condition.
Is beautiful,
I'm so
strong.
Sorry.
She does give very unproblematic. Just I'm here for the drama in the background. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. Would we be there for the drama, being the ones causing the drama or observing the drama?
I think personally, me and you.
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking about me and you?
Yeah.
Great.
Like we
would be causing drama unintentionally because of who we are. And people would have a problem with the way that we are just so ourselves.
Okay.
And I would be like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to apologize for being my authentic self.
I think that's right.
I think just letting it unfold a little bit. That's very toxic.
I feel like you would maybe be causing some of the drama as well. Just being that I know you, I feel like there's a good possibility. And I would just be your ride or die.
You would be like, yeah, and?
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, she's making terrible life choices, but I love her. So let her live.
No, I think that's for sure accurate.
Yeah, is she going to get fired from her job? Not be able to pay her rent? Maybe, but let her live.
But it's all in the crystals.
Oh my God. It's all in the crystals.
I said that because you love that sentence.
I love the crystals so very much.
I know.
Okay. So a teacher from Texas asked, what advice do you have for a teacher trying to get back in the game? So they see and hear teachers fleeing the classroom and everything they are seeing scares them. As a teacher that, you've been in for 3 years, and you've got some experience under your belt now. Is there any advice you would give to somebody that would help them to not feel scared about teaching for the first time?
Oh, I think being scared is very valid because of the climate of just what the reputation school these days has, right? It can seem scary, it can seem daunting, it can seem almost impossible. However, I think at the very core of it all, it's really not. In the sense of, you guys have even told me, like our teacher group, especially with working with older students, they really are just little babies trying to figure it out. And anything that is intimidating or they're trying to be scared, it's just a reflection of like projecting. They're just as scared. They're just as worried that they are going to get made fun of, or they're not smart enough or something enough. And so kind of I love to be vulnerable, like with my students, of like, look, I was not a straight A student, you guys. I wasn't. I skipped class a lot because I didn't feel confident. I say it. I didn't feel confident in whatever subject it was that day. But that's also because I didn't feel safe with some of the teachers, in the sense of like, I might not know what's going on, but I know I have at least one person in this room who's going to, my ride or die, who's going to back me up. So I think, again, feeling those feelings, very valid, but you have to, it's also confidence of just like, no, I know what I'm doing. I've been experiencing a lot of imposter syndrome, like kind of throughout this semester, of just everything I'm doing, I'm taking from, our group, and as anything authentically me. And it is about like grounding yourself back to, no, I can do this. I'm here for a reason. It's going to be hard, period.
Yeah.
But that's okay. And it's not going to be hard forever. And
I think that's great advice. And I think that also remembering that the thing that students are going to remember about you is less the content and more just like, are they my ride or die? Like, do they care about me? And to me, that seemed just so much more manageable entering the classroom, knowing like, okay, like, are they like going to know that I care? Well, I can do that. I know I can do that because I do care.
Right.
So yeah.
I know that I have that gene to care. Exactly. Yeah.
Definitely. One of the questions I asked everybody, like, what are your students doing? A teacher said that they had some rats in their school. And so a teacher suggested that they trap the rats to feed to the school snake. What are your thoughts on that? How do you feel about that?
Let's back up. Rats where?
In the school, like eating little snake snacks.
Roaming around, being like, hey guys, hey.
Apparently, maybe it's New York. You know, there's a lot of rats in New York.
Okay, so they want to capture the rats and feed it to the pet snake at school?
Apparently, yeah.
That's giving a little barbaric.
Is it though? Or is it just like the
or is it like,
cycle,
you know what? You're trapped in a cage. Yeah. Dinner's on me tonight, guys.
Kind of. Okay. There was a snake that my kindergarten teacher had, and its name was Rosie Boa. And as it grew, because it was in my kindergarten class, as it got bigger, they moved it to older kids' classes. So in like 6th grade, it was in my 6th grade class. And 8th grade, it was in my 8th grade class. And 12th grade, it was like huge, right? So like I just happened to be the class that it like kind of followed along with.
It's kind of precious.
It was a massive snake by the time I graduated, but I have a vivid memory of them trying to feed rats to this snake, and the biology teacher was like trying to dangle the rat, and the snake missed the hand or missed the rat and got the hand. So that's a dangerous game they're playing if that is in fact what they want to do, because a lot of times they try and do that so the rat doesn't bite the snake. They're like trying to protect the snake. But I think if you're going to do just a nature
if you want a full on survival of the fittest mode, ding ding ding, round 1,
or just let the snake free in the school. And
right, what if we just did that too?
What if we just
we put it on a leash,
put more snakes into the halls to really deal with it? Why don't we
breed more snakes, and then everyone gets their own collar, and you can walk your snake around and let him eat the rats? How about that?
Yeah. How does one breed a snake?
So one breeds a snake by... So, Andrea, when two snakes love each other very much,
and I think that's all the time that we have for this week. Unfortunately, we are not going to go into the rat
snake reproduction.
Yeah, not this time. But you're coming back soon.
I am coming back soon.
So soon. I am so excited. It's going to be so fun. I know. All right. How can people find you and keep up with you? Because you've been posting. I've seen your little TikToks.
I've been trying to be more consistent with it. You can find me keeping up with Miss.B on TikTok. And Instagram, I think, is the same.
What you gave us, it's the same. You gave us the same for both. So unless you're a liar.
No, Instagram is keeping up with Miss.B _ because someone took keeping up with Miss B.
Selfish.
So disrespectful. So you can find me on there and see all of my silly, goofy things I do during the week.
Yeah, all of her spooky stuff that probably came from me.
I am a creature of inauthentic material. So yes.
All right. On that note, we will be right back. Bye.
Bye.
Welcome back to Those Who Can't Do. I always have so much fun hanging out with Denver, obviously because of her deep well of historical knowledge is really, I think, the foundation of our whole friendship. So if you have comments about what we talked about today, and if you wanted to fact check us on any of the science facts that we discussed and geography facts that we discussed today, you can contact us at andrea@human-content.com, or you can contact me at Educator Andrea on TikTok and Instagram. You can also contact the whole Human Content Podcast family at Human Content Pod. And thank you guys so much for leaving the incredible feedback we've been getting lately. I really appreciate it. And a very special thank you to formerly a teacher who said, the only way we are going to save the teachers is by having fabulous, smart professors like you helping them keep up the good work. So thank you so much. I am so glad you are loving the podcast and really appreciate the kind words. Every single time it makes me feel like I'm so bad at taking compliments. So it makes me feel a little embarrassed, but also mostly good. So thank you guys so much for saying those wonderful things about the podcast. And if you have not left a review yet, please do so that you can get a shout out as well. If you want to check out the full video episodes, they are up every single week up on YouTube at Educator Andrea. Thank you so much for listening. I'm your host, Andrea Forkham. A very special thank you to our guest co-host today, Denver Riley. And our executive producers are Andrea Forkham, Aaron Corney, Rob Goldman, and Shanti Brook. Our editor is Andrew Sims. Our engineer is Jason Portizo. Our music is by Omer Benzvi. Our recording location is the Indiana State by College of Education. To learn more about our Those Who Can't Do's program disclaimer and ethics policy and submission, verification, and licensing terms, you can go to podcasterandrea.com. Those Who Can't Do is a human content production. Thank you so much for watching. If you're like me and you're thinking, gosh, I really need more Those Who Can't Do in my life, you can start your binging right now by clicking on that playlist button right over there. New episodes are out every Thursday, so please subscribe and join us each week on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.